So tonight, pretty late, 6:30, 9 Republicans behind closed doors are going to tell other Republicans why they should be Speaker of the House. Okay. Who are these people? Emmer of Minnesota, Hearn of Oklahoma, Scott of Georgia, Johnson of Louisiana, Bergman of Michigan, Donalds of Florida, Mauser of Pennsylvania, Sessions of Texas, and Palmer of Alabama. I know nothing about any of them. I don't follow any political party like that. But it is just an embarrassment for the Republican Party. And Democrats love this because Democrats have nothing to run on next year. Nothing. What have you done? What have you made better in this country? We have social disorder everywhere. We have financial hardship everywhere. We have record spending that sooner or later is going to collapse the economy. What are you running on if you're a Democrat? What? They have nothing, except the Republicans can't even get a Speaker of the House. So joining us now from New York is a guy who spent 28 years in the House of Representatives, Peter King, representing the South Shore of Long Island. Give me an overview on this, first of all right? A lot of people, they don't follow this. Why did Kevin McCarthy get the boot?
Well, Bill, first of all, thanks for having me on. There's no logical reason at all. Kevin McCarthy was doing the very best he could. He has 221 Republicans, and you need 217 or 218 votes to get anything through the House. And he has to deal with a wide range of members of Congress, people from Long Island, people from upstate New York, as well as people from Mississippi and Alabama. And his job is to unite them as much as he can, to get legislation passed. And to do that, for instance, to keep the government open, he had to work out a spending bill with the Democrats, which would get enough Republicans and enough Democrats, and he did that. And so he was accused of collaborating with the enemy, with the Democrats. That was the excuse they used, but it was really, he had the support of 96% of the Republicans. There was only 8 Republicans went against him, led by Matt Gaetz. And to me, it was irresponsible. They had no substitute or alternative candidate. And it's the first time in the history of the country that a Speaker of the House has been removed. And you would think there would be some cause for it, not just disagreeing on whether or not they should have had a bipartisan solution to keeping the government open. So This was a power play with no concern for the consequences.
Do you know Gaetz?
I was with him, I guess, for the last 4 years. I was in Congress. I was there with Gaetz. I always considered him to be a flake, to be a strange guy on the outside. And now being away from it, it's hard for me to believe that Matt Gaetz was the one who brought down a Speaker of the House of Representatives for the first time in history. I mean, he's not a serious player, sort of a gadfly. He loves getting attention. And I didn't know anyone who was really close to him down in Congress. He was one of those guys sitting in the back of the room, telling jokes. That's my impression of Matt Gaetz.
Well, he says, and the other 7 that went along with him, is that conservative Republicans are demanding fiscal responsibility and to make a deal with the other party, the Democrats, who obviously are not responsible fiscally, is a sellout. That's Gaetz's position. Is there any validity to that?
No, there isn't. I'll tell you why. Listen, if Kevin McCarthy had a Republican Senate and a Republican president, then they could make much more progress than they did. The fact is that the Democrats control the White House, they control the Senate, and Kevin McCarthy, to me, was making the best deals that he could. They were incremental, but he was making steady progress. And if it was such a difference having Kevin there rather than having a Democratic speaker, because he was able to block a lot of Democratic legislation, and using that, he was able to make some progress on different spending bills. He was able to get a border security bill through the House. He got some anti-crime legislation through the House. The reality is that the Democrats control almost all the levers of government, the Senate, the White House, and they're within four members of controlling the House.
Gaetz says, well, then we should blow everything up. If they have that power, we should just blow it up, shut it down. And that's his posture, correct?
It is, and it's totally irresponsible. I mean, there's a real role, whether people like the Congress or not. It has a
Why
role to
didn't
play, and now we see it with Israel. We have to be voting on aid measures for Israel, among other things.
All right, 3 Republicans on Long Island, where we are, voted against Jim Jordan. Why?
The main reason would be that he has shown a real antipathy to New York. He voted against 9/11 healthcare legislation. He voted against aid to Sandy. And also, some of the tactics that were used indicated that he may be leaning too much toward the Matt Gaetz wing of the party. For instance, the threatening phone calls started coming in once Jordan became the nominee. And there was a strong feeling that more could have been done to stop that. There was none of that with McCarthy, none of that with Scalise, but suddenly with Jordan, they were getting politically threatening phone calls, which was one thing, but also physically threatening phone calls. And somebody turned that on.
Did the election have anything to do with that, that Jordan voted to decertify the electoral count? Did that have anything to do with it?
It certainly did, with some Republicans, and including the ones on Long Island, where it's more of a blue-collar conservative attitude rather than this holier than thou. And even though Trump actually did, even in 2020, he carried Suffolk, almost carried Nassau. He carried both of them in 2016. But this Long Island does not believe that the election was stolen. They think there were probably irregularities.
Why did the guy from Louisiana lose?
Steve Scalise, he was considered too close to McCarthy, I believe. That's the way I sense it. He was considered part of the establishment.
Now it's 9 guys want it. Give me a quick prediction on what you think is going to happen. Quick.
Okay, I think the best would be Tom Emmer, who's right now the whip. He's from Minnesota. He's a solid Republican, understands you got to bring people together. But Trump is against him, so that could be enough to keep him out. Other than that, Bill, I have no idea where this is going. I talk to people in Congress all the time. No one sees an end to this, which is really tragic.
It certainly is. Not good for the country. Peter King, thanks very much. We really appreciate your time today.